Welcome to What You Missed When You Didn't Exist. This time around, it's me and Lucy talking about something that happened 30 years ago. 30 years ago? I want
Mm,
to say 30 years.
1990?
It's a mess. It's a mess. I'm Corbett, and I'm 54.
I'm Lucy and I'm 24.
See, I know how it works.
What's the mess, Dad? What's the mess?
In 1989, the Exxon Valdez spill. It was one of the biggest spills. I don't know if it's the biggest spill on record, but it's one of the most noted spills on record, where a oil tanker spilled out just outside of an Alaska harbor area. There's a lot of conflicting stuff on this because I was looking back at it and I remembered the captain Harriman. Wasn't his name Harriman?
I think it was
Hazelwood.
Yeah, Hazelwood.
Yeah, Captain Hazelwood was the one who was supposed to be in charge of it. I remembered that he was supposed to be drunk on staff or hungover or something like that. I was looking through the notes on all this, and there's a lot of stuff that says he wasn't, and that it was actually faulty equipment that caused the spill. Like faulty equipment they could have replaced, but it was too expensive to replace the equipment, so the better way is just not pay for it. Honestly, I don't know which is worse. If he was drunk or if they were negligent. Like,
They could mix. It could be both.
I don't know. The Exxon Valdez tanker, Valdez was the name of the tanker, was loaded with 53 million gallons of crude oil. It ruptured right in the center and spilled out into the whole area and coated like wildlife. It was a disastrous mess, and honestly put onto every talk show, every pundit show, it was like on Saturday Night Live. Everybody made a joke about it. The cleanup took years and years and years. I think they're still like studying the area because they're still trying to make sure, like, is it any better? Is it slightly better? Is it worse? I think even reading through all the articles on it, they say there's still like 16,000 gallons of oil just sitting on the beach. Like, doesn't it absorb into something? How does oil work?
Gross.
But it was one of the first big cleanups that America had. And I think it's one of the worst spills that they had as well. And whether it was a drunk captain or negligent company, Exxon wound up paying out like billions. I think like several billion to the area to try to get the cleanup done. I think it's kind of annoying that they didn't volunteer that up front.
Well, it wasn't their fault. They were placing the blame on Hazelwood.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, they're the ones with billions of dollars. They could have easily said, "Okay, we're gonna send out a cleanup crew. We're gonna do all this stuff. We're gonna work." Instead, they have to go through the courts to get pushed through to be told, and you should do something.
Yeah.
Which is kind of terrible, kind of in the terrible zone. That's the bad thing. It's bad if you have a captain who's not prepared or if you have negligent response on your equipment. But to not follow up with, okay, we're going to do what we can to start taking care of this. Instead, go the other route of, nah, sue us first and then we'll pay up. It's like, you're just asking for it. I think it would have probably been considerably cheaper for them if they had just jumped in and started doing everything on their own, wouldn't it?
It probably would have been cheaper, but I think partially on this, like in the lawyer mentality, I think the minute you start to send out people to help, then you're kind of admitting that you were in fault in the first place. And so I think in terms
I don't
of
think anybody didn't accept that they were at fault in some way or another. I think they were hoping like, oh, we could dump it on this one guy. I have to tell you, if you sue one guy, you're not cleaning up an entire state.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just saying from a lawyer's perspective, I think that's the one thing they teach you. Like, first thing you pop into law school is don't admit that you did anything wrong, because then it makes the case that much harder to prove. Still terrible.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. There was several other oil spills that followed after this. This was just one of the ones that really stuck out. And there was plenty before it too. So I don't feel like this is the only one. But in 1989, this was the one that like filled the headlines for years. It was, like I said, it was constantly thrown at us either by people telling us like, oh, this is happening and this is happening. It was a disaster of record proportions. They reference it constantly. I was looking through like his pop culture references. It's referenced in like all kinds of stuff from movies and television shows and animated shows and books. And I actually, one thing I didn't realize in the Forrest Gump novel, they have a bit where he jumps in and steers the ship wrong.
Oh, really?
He's the one who caused the Exxon Valdez
Oh,
mess.
no.
Well, in the novel, he did a lot of stuff. That's the thing. In the novel, it's him and a monkey and Lieutenant Dan who are like sitting in an alley and like, let me tell you a story. And he tells his life story. And the monkey was like one of the space mission monkeys. And they all like escaped from NASA at one point. It was crazy. But that's what made Forrest Gump such a fun show. Anyway, but yeah, there was a lot of cultural backlash and forward lash and everything else in between, where everybody talked about the Exxon Valdez as this pretty bad, terrible event. I think they were still doing tests up to at least the last ones I can see on record are from 2014,
Wow.
which technically is still in your lifetime if you didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, there have been some pretty bad oil spills in my lifetime, too.
That's true. Sorry to say.
We constantly need oil, and it just keeps going and going and going. But
Yeah,
I don't know. The Exxon Valdez one isn't in the top 10 of the biggest oil spills in history, though,
it
apparently.
isn't?
It's
Okay, now
not.
you got me intrigued. What was the top number one? What was number one? What was it numbered at?
It wasn't numbered on anything that I've seen, but the number one biggest oil spill is the Persian Gulf War spill in
Oh, yep, that
91.
was a bad one.
And then the second one is the one that happened in my lifetime, which was the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which happened off the Gulf of
Oh,
Mexico.
yeah, that one was pretty bad. That one was actually a rig spill, if I remember right. They like the pipe ruptured from the rig
Yeah.
and it was just pumping out into the Gulf.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually like a shipping spill. It was an actual,
It was like the rig riser platform thing.
it had a broken pipe or the pump worked backward. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
It was a mess though, and it destroyed like a ton of the Gulf of Mexico. That was and that was all washing up on. Oh, I want to say it was Louisiana. Actually, in Houston, they had quite a bit of it too.
Yeah, it was in the
So
Gulf
you probably still
specifically.
would have records of that somewhere around nearby.
All the coasts from Texas to Florida. Dun, dun, dun.
hmm
But okay, there's so much controversy with the Exxon Valdez spill
Well, you got quite a bit.
because people don't know if he was drunk or if the equipment was faulty.
The statement originally was that he was drunk. He was
Mhm.
drunk, and actually, you had pointed this out before the show. The Coast Guard tested him, and it was like his level was like 0.8 or something.
His blood alcohol content was a 0.06, which technically, if you are in the United States and you're driving a motor vehicle, you are considered intoxicated if you blow a 0.08.
Okay,
But then
that's what it was.
apparently the Coast Guard rules say that you are intoxicated if you blow a 0.04. So why are we holding people driving ships at higher standards than people driving vehicles? We let so many people drive motor vehicles every single day. That's
Well,
crazy.
I will say I would think that a ship's captain should be 0.00.
Well, yes, everyone driving anything should be at a 0.00.
Because if your car wreck causes a disaster that lasts 25 years, maybe a higher standard should be set. So I can see why they're just higher.
Yeah, but you also have to think like the stereotype is like airplane pilots are always like going to the bar and then they go and like fly the plane. So people that are flying these massive things of machinery are getting drunk while as we're being held to standards of like don't drink and drive. Like what is this world?
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yeah, but this isn't the current world. This is 30 years ago. It's all been
Oh
fixed by now.
gosh, yes, ridiculous. And also, what happened to the stereotype of people that when you steer the ship, pirates are known drunk people? They have to be drunk to fit the role of pirate. So, what happened to pirate
Okay.
culture? It's just gone?
Are you saying you want to see Jack Sparrow piloting a oil tanker?
Who doesn't want to see Jack Sparrow? Are you kidding?
Piloting an oil tanker?
Hey, times are tough, and he just wanted money. So, I see no problem with that.
Yes, Jack Sparrow does seem like the type that will settle down for a nice, steady job.
It's what you
Oh my
need,
gosh.
man. consistency in your life.
This is terrible. This is.
Oh my gosh. But okay, I think my conspiracy theory in my head that I'm forming is that they're connected. That Hazelwood was probably, I don't think he was drunk, but he was probably like capping off the end of the day, as most people normally do. And I think he was capping off the end of the day, but he was also probably needing a drink because of the faulty equipment that was happening on board the ship. And his mentality was probably, hey, I'm not getting this equipment because Exxon's too cheap to do anything about it. So I got to work with what I've got, and that can be hard sometimes. So he needed a drink. Boom. Connected. So everyone is to blame.
This is kind of true. I think the one of the requirements after this, the state required any large ship has to be escorted with 2 tugboats.
Whoa.
Because those kind of ships are so big, they don't maneuver real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that was it's going through these difficult waters because up in Alaska, there's just tons of tiny little outcropping and land drifts that make it a bit of a navigational trick. And the third mate was the one who was piloting the ship at the time.
Yeah.
That is an absolute fact. Whether the captain was sleeping it off or I don't know why exactly the third mate was the one taking it out of dock to begin with. It seems like a captain's job or at least the first mate's job.
Yeah.
Third mate seems like, okay, that's a
Anyone
way
at the
down the chain.
wheel.
It's bring your daughter to work day. So guess what you're doing today, Lucy?
Terrible. Could you imagine?
I don't know. I could pilot a ship. Who knows? I could definitely drink. So that's fine.
Well, he was only charged with one single charge of misdemeanor negligence, which is kind of crazy. And then he was also fined $50,000, and he had to perform 1,000 hours of community service, which
is
1,000
actually
hours
pretty.
is a lot.
1,000 hours is a lot, but if you consider the amount of time it took to clean it up and it's still there,
yeah,
it's bad.
No, it is crazy. But Exxon had their employees with federal responders and then 11,000 Alaska residents to clean up the oil spill. And they only paid $2 billion in cleanup costs. And then also $2 billion for habitat restoration, which I feel like is not enough.
On a good note, in 2014, the report that came back is they were checking to see if the wildlife had kind of come back, and they did show positive signs of the wildlife returning. I don't know if that means it's at full numbers, but hey, that's the start.
I would hope so.
Sorry we trashed everything. Here's some birds.
No, it's so bad because they killed 250,000 seabirds, 3,000 otters, 300 seals, 250 bald eagles, and 22 killer whales.
That was a reference from Free Willy. Free Willy had the reference about that.
That's crazy.
No, it's a lot of. To be fair, I'm not exactly worried too much about seabirds because they're kind of annoying.
Well, hate on
I'm
the birds.
Sorry. Hey, we've all seen Finding Nemo.
Hey, the birds are chill.
the seagulls are the most annoying birds.
Yeah.
But it was pretty bad, and I can say everybody loves otters. So
I know. Nobody
wanted to see the otters. It's terrible that everything took the hit. Everything took the hit. Nobody wanted to take the blame, but everybody else took the hit.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to say it, a large chunk of it is because we rely so heavily on oil. And this isn't Corbett's all about getting rid of oil. Like, no, but we could do better. We could definitely live in more of the land.
Yeah, I think so.
The thing is, we spread out all over the country, but we're still condensed in major cities. So you go to a major city and there's like millions and millions of people there. But then you go out a few hundred miles and then there's like 4 people.
Yeah.
And if we readjusted our city setups, I think we would actually benefit more from the world. We wouldn't need to drive to work because we'd just be walking to the nearest place we're working at.
Yeah. Public transportation, people.
Well, there's that. But I mean, just in general, community-wise, if we built a better community setup, I think we wouldn't need gas as much.
Yeah, that's true.
Even Europe has cars. So don't think like, oh, they have all the public transportation and they don't have any need for gas. Of course they have the need for gas because it's still big.
Yeah. Well, they're also not traveling as far as everyone in the US, though, because I think I've seen a couple TikToks where they'll talk about long distance best friends, and people in Europe will be like, oh my gosh, my best friend lives 30 minutes away. It's so far.
Yeah.
And they're like, my best friend lives 17 hours away from me via car.
Hmm.
That's the long distance relationship because it's
Yep.
huge. It's too
No, it's
huge.
true. It's true. And that's the thing. We're spread out. That's not a bad thing. It's just like, well, and you could say, oh, well, I'll just drive electric. I'm like, sure, you could, but you're still going to need some kind of gas. Gas just is used. It's, of course, it runs practically every food source we have because trucks are shipping and farm equipment's running on it. We kind of need it.
Yeah.
So, is there a solution to this? I don't know. Actually, I do know. Let's turn to the youth of the world. What do you think, Lucy? What's the fix?
Well, I will say after that oil spill, George H.W. Bush, he's the
Hmm.
junior or the senior?
Senior.
He's the senior.
Senior.
So he put in a oil pollution act in 1990, which helped to increase the penalties for companies so that way they're more responsible for their oil spills. So I feel like that accountability has kind of slowed things down a bit because even looking at these biggest oil spills that have ever happened, I think the majority of them had happened in the really, really big and bad ones had happened in the 70s and the 80s. The newer ones, there's only 3 on here that really happened after 1990. So I feel like we've gotten better in terms of the amount that it's happening because people are more willing to. I think we're trying to promote taking ownership and accountability for your actions, but it's kind of a hard thing to do because everyone always likes to place blame on someone else.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard because in terms of the environment, I feel like we're getting worse. Because I found out recently that using AI is still bad for the environment because it takes these huge warehouses to like hold the computer mind that AI uses.
You just found this out?
I
They've
just
been talking
barely
about
found
this
this
for
out.
years.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Yeah, they big giant megalithic computer banks that run everything. But those were there before. And I'm not promoting like, well, you're wrong. Is those computer banks were there before and they're still there that are running like all of Amazon's database or all of Amazon's AWS services. Their
Yeah.
AWS is where they run servers for people and then rent them out as here's your server. Since of the average person, they go to Amazon and say, okay, I need a server, spin me up one, I'll put my stuff on there and I'll put up my web page, blah, 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 and then out it goes. But most of them are leased out by companies that run banks, credit cards, all kinds of systems. That's why like a few months ago there was a big outage for banks for like a day because Amazon messed up something in their system and they all went
Oh, whoa.
that because all of the other companies were leasing space from Amazon and it all collapsed because of that. So, and it runs these giant warehouse sized computer banks of data and information, which has everybody's servers on it. Now, these new data bank warehouses, yes, they eat up all this space and require all this power. And I'm not saying that's great or good or anything, but it's just more that like, yeah, we're used to it's kind of like when people tell me that windmills kill birds. Like, well, the same amount of birds that hit windmills also hit buildings. And to be
Yeah.
quite honest, I have at least one bird a day in the summertime that just smacks into my window because it doesn't see it. And I'm on a first floor. So what's wrong with these birds? But that's beside the point.
Hatred for the birds, man.
It's it's just the specifics of like, yeah, it does use a lot of power. And yes, we're going to use that. Is it good? Well, I guess we'll find out in a few years, but
Yeah.
it's not that it's totally great for the environment, but I can say I don't know how good AI is going to be for economic environment. That's the thing I'm more worried.
Yeah.
That's a whole
different conversation.
but that's your life. I'm going to be dead by then, so we're
Oh,
fine.
thanks. Thanks for that. As a society, we're learning to come up with more environmentally friendly options and more environmentally friendly methods, which is nice because I think you just didn't have those options when you were younger. But I also feel like life was a lot simpler in the sense of you just had the one detergent you had to use and you just used it, or the one kind of soap that you could use, or you had to make your own kind of thing. But I feel like now there's so many different aisles for different kinds of cleaning products, and you have to find the right one that's environmentally friendly and has the perfect packaging and has the, right
Yeah.
concoction of stuff that still also cleans,
Mhm.
which is nice that they offer those options, but I think it makes it hard for people, especially because more often than not, those environmentally friendly options are more expensive. So I think we're trying to head in the right direction, but I think we're going about it in the wrong way.
Well, I think, what was it? It was The Good Place. Comedy, The Good Place?
Yeah.
Where they point out, like, it's complicated now. It's not as simple as I go pick a rose and I give it to somebody. It's like, well, this rose comes from a rose grower who uses an herbicide, which causes a pollutional problem that does something bad to the environment, which then goes back to somebody else. And then that pesticide does, so many levels to, I just wanted to buy a rose.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. Shouldn't be that hard, but it is complicated.
I think you doing whatever makes you happy to feel like you're making an impact, a positive impact on the environment, is always a good thing. I think it's hard.
Well, it's certainly not bad to try.
Yeah. Because I think at this point, we're either on the teetering edge of, well, at this point, it doesn't matter what we do because the whole world's going to explode anyways. Or we're teetering on the edge of, let's try to fix the environment and help each other. But it's kind of hard to go backwards on that.
Yeah.
It's just changing the impact moving forward. Because, I mean, in all honesty, the environment's been going downhill since the Industrial Revolution. But it's kind of hard to undo 300 years of history and pollution. So
anything's fixable, and I'm pretty sure the Earth will be here long after we're gone.
Yeah.
So on that happy note,
pick your environmentally friendly cleaning products, or stick with Dawn and save the ducks covered in
save
oil.
the ducks. This has been brought to you by Dawn, not a subsidiary of oil. No, we clean that stuff. So for what you missed when you didn't exist, clean up your messes.
Yeah, clean up your messes, people. Save the ducks, even though you hate all the birds.
Well, ducks are likable. Come on.